Okay, dude, what about the freaking NFTs? Enough of the DeFi, because that's it, guys. That's what I had for you. I think you could suck up only about that much APY, yeah? I think so. That's the end of the API part, where you can connect all your own pipes. Can you see what you can do? So is it true actually what I said when I said that you could make literally as much as you liked for as long as each one of those stayed up? Do they melt into the ocean in a week, into the liquidity pools? Do they get siphoned off by the whales who just want to eat up all of you little plankton? Or are they going to steer through because the team behind it is actually legit? And they're like, no, we want to make a difference. We're like that guy, Daniel. Is Daniel even legit? There he's putting his face on it. He must have some balls. Why is he showing himself off? Does he actually want to really help the world and make a difference? That's what he says he does. What about Richard Hart? We don't know where he lives, but he's over in somewhere in Eastern Europe, Liechtenstein most likely. We've seen parts of the castle and stuff where he drives around. We're not absolutely sure where he is, but he says he wants to make a difference. He's just donated $27 million to longevity, research, because Richard Hart doesn't want to die. I guess Richard Hart raised $2 billion from his Pulse launch in the last 2 months. $2 billion he raised. People gave him money for no expectation of anything in return, so that there would be no tax implications. Everything was down the line. You got nothing. Every airdrop coming to you would be zero worth in value. He had his legal team across the whole thing. So fascinating, because everybody that put, even now by the computations, every $1,000 into Pulse Chain basically looks like it's yielding $1 million, and it launches anywhere in like 2 months. And the expectation that most people missed out, only 40,000 people got on the Pulse Chain. And because I missed out on the Hex one, you're probably thinking, yeah, Barnaby probably wanted to miss out on the next one too, right? Well, you're never going to know. So let's look at NFTs, because we're leaving the APY land and we're going into what is an NFT and why would somebody spend $69 million for a JPEG? So if you thought that APYs and DeFi was stupid, did you ever believe that there would be a $69 million JPEG? Here we go. This is it. This is not the $69 million one, but this is the guy who kicked it off big time this year. Even though NFTs have been around for 4 years, more than 4 years actually, they really have been out for more like, I think 6. This is Beeple. Beeple how did Beeple sell $69 million plus in an NFT launch? And because remember, JPEG is just a picture. So he trained a massive community. Remember, I keep on saying that word, community. Even Klaus talks about it, doesn't he? He says, and you will all come with us. It's always about the community. Beeple trained thousands of people for free in how to do 3D graphic art. He just loved training people, and people loved learning from him. For more than a decade, he helped people online with making 3D art. And then one day, he's like, why don't I just launch an NFT and see what happens? Well, what happened was he made $69 million. But that was after a decade of him building trust and rapport. So that community, so those people who are spending $1 million per JPEG are feeling very happy about it. They're feeling like it's a very good investment. Well, what else? What actually is this fungible? So far up until this moment, everything's been fungible. That means interchangeable. Can be traded interchangeably. Now we're on to the non-fungible. Cannot be traded. This is where the NFTs are, where the artwork is. The Mona Lisa is a non-fungible. If you cut it up into little pieces, nobody's going to be happy. I mean, yes, you probably, if you had a piece of the Mona Lisa, if some psycho cut it up and you got yourself a little piece of the Mona Lisa, you maybe could sell it for $1 million, but people still aren't going to be happy. But together, it's a bit like a person. You are non-fungible. Only in your cohesiveness do you have value. The cohesiveness of the NFT is what gives it value. That is why they're so cool and hot. And it is the opposite for the fungible. The profound utility of the fungible is their splintering ability, is their fracturization. That's what makes it so appealing, is that you can break them up. What makes the NFT so valuable is the opposite. There's only 2 types of tokens. There can only be 2 types of tokens. Those that can be split up and those that cannot. It's very simple when you think about it, but who sits around and talks about this stuff? Not many people, but I guess maybe you might now. So the NFT properties, they are unique. They're provably scarce and they're indivisible. You can't cut them up. And so what is cool from this point on is we have left behind the over complexities of the DeFi APY land, and now we are looking at pretty pictures that anybody can upload onto the open seas. And inside the open sea marketplace, where you can just create a new item. You just upload a JPEG, a picture, and boom, you've got your NFT. But is anybody going to be interested? People are just uploading pictures non-stop, every day, all the time, and they're not selling. And yet other ones are. People are uploading them and selling them for $10,000 instantly. What is the difference between your JPEG that no one's willing to pay 1 cent for, your NFT, and the other guy who popped it up and got 10 grand for it? Look at these, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. This has set the tone. This has set the standard. This has blown up. These are the apes. How do they tap into the zeitgeist? Because of everything that happened with the apes and the degens. It was the degens over on GameStop. The apes over there gave rise to the thought of what happens if we make a Bored Ape Yacht Club. And then the 10,000, because it's always 10,000 on these iconic characters that people want to use as their profile picture. There's always the 10,000. It's a formula. And when they first started trading, they were 0.08 or call it 0.1 ETH. So at the time when they launched back in April, they were a few $100s each. Now, look at the listing price, minimum, $139,000. And that's a cheap one, 35 ETH. You'll be lucky. Please let me know if you can get yourself a Bored Ape for 35 ETH. $140,000 is a very cheap since April. In 6 months, these JPEGs went from $400 to $140,000 on a JPEG picture that some guys drew and stuck up online. Am I melting your mind even more? If you thought that the gains were mad over in DeFi, now any artist can sit down. And the Shibs over at Shiba, they were not content with just making their APYs on their platform for the degens. No, they had to make their own Shiboshis. And so they've made these. And the minimum price here, the floor price, that's what they call the floor. And there's, once again, you can see the 10,000. And they are 1 ETH each. But on the launch day, you were able to pick them up for 1/10 of that. And all of us apes leaping in to buy the Shiboshis as fast as we could. Because we knew where they were going with it. When you know what the platform wants to do with it, when you know that they're going to use those NFTs for other purposes in their game, in their ecosystem, now they have utility in this crazy metaverse world that is encroaching more and more upon ours. But it gets deeper and crazier because the first ones to kick it off were the cyberpunks. The CryptoPunks. The CryptoPunks here, if you thought those were expensive, well, here we go. Here's one. This one's also 36. But these actually, no. That's the all-time high. That one's not even selling. You can't get one of these CryptoPunks typically for less than the many hundreds of thousands. So if you thought the apes are expensive, these ones are 12 pixels. Each one of those squares is a pixel. This is the tiny pixelated little character. They were the first NFTs. Why would people are buying them, they are $500,000 each. $500,000 minimum for a tiny pixel. You are still lost then. If you can't understand it, I've already said the answer. Can anybody just say why they would be the ones that are the most valuable of the NFTs?
Yeah.
Because they were the first. They were the first ones. It didn't matter how big or small or how many pixels. And they gave them away for free. Because nobody wanted an NFT CryptoPunk. And you could have got them for free 4 years ago. And now each one is $500,000. Because when you get to show off your CryptoPunk and your LSD display, no, seriously, when people come around to your house and you have an LSD display showing a CryptoPunk and you show them the authentication on your wallet, is that some cred or what? Seriously, well, in this world that I'm living in, can you see at the beginning when I said I'm letting you in on Barnaby's universe? And so those of us who missed out, all of us fools who didn't understand the longevity of the CryptoPunks, what are we able to do for catching up? Here they are, here's the trading. This one, 66 ETH, 265. That's the cheapest one I could find, 265,000 on the CryptoPunks. But then we're not to be outdone because the little guy wants in. We want in too. We missed out. on our CryptoPunks, and we will not miss out because we are the degens, right? We know that they're going to have more value later on, and so why not have a crypto funk? Let's get funked. Let's go funk, and let's reverse. The others are all facing right. Nope. We're going to turn left. We're just going to do a complete fork. We're just going to do a complete fork copy of the whole lot, of all 10,000, and just turn them left. And stick the finger to the punks from Lava Labs, because they won't give us our copyright. The copyright sits with the owner of the Bored Ape. The Bored Ape owns the copyright. You can make your own t-shirt. The Shiboshis, guess what we're going to be doing? We can buy them, and when you see our music platform, we are turning them into bands, music bands. The Shiboshis are coming out as a music band. We own the IP when you buy the Shiboshi or the ape, but not the frickin' CryptoPunks, because Lava Labs is holding onto them with a tight, that they don't understand. They launched the whole thing and they are not being decentralized about it. So then the funks come along. But what happens? OpenSea, which declares themselves to be a decentralized platform, but no, OpenSea kicks off the funks. OpenSea doesn't let tradability happen for the funks. And so the funks put it into the press. And the press comes and they all start circling and realizing, wow, you guys are the underdogs, you've been hard done by. And so what turned out to be at the beginning, a $200 tiny little drop, actually no, they were for free, I think at the beginning, just with the gas fee of these funks on Ethereum. Now they are trading at 2 ETH at 10,000 each on the copycat, on the funk. Because whoever has a funk, maybe they'll become a punk. Let's see what happens in this degen crazy universe. Here they are, over on Variable. And what's funny is you're smiling at yourself because I actually understand this guy. I don't understand how I can understand him, but I'm understanding what he's saying. And so here over on Variable, Variable's got some cred because Variable's letting the trading happen over here on the crypto funks. And there's more. We're getting into the tail end. I've got to go at breakneck speed. Are you cool with that if I just keep on going at breakneck speed? Okay, cool. Let's keep it up. Here we go. That's what happens over at Variable. And this is how you make it. You make a collection. You just press a button, upload a JPEG, and hope that you too can make your $10,000 on your JPEG. But probably not, unless you've built your 10,000 people community. How are you going to get 10,000 people to fall in love with you? So, there you go. So here you upload. It looks even prettier on Variable. Variable, these are just platforms. You know, OpenSea just launched in 2018. They just made this. Now they've got more trading volume than on Uniswap. Uniswap is the biggest DEX with billions and billions. More people are trading NFTs. Trading JPEGs. There's more trading JPEGs than there is on the fungible side. It's so insane. And here we have Band Royalty, which you saw at the beginning. Band Royalty is our music platform that we're launching. And here we have launched our 3,000 NFTs. These are our initial music royalty NFTs that are unlike anything else that the industry has seen. And there's more. I'm moving at breakneck speed because we have other blockchains, whole other ecosystems. You have the whole Wax ecosystem that was built only for NFTs, and this is Atomic Hub. And Atomic Hub lets you basically just launch NFTs and they're 1 cent each. So we built our Key of Quotes game. The Key of Quotes game launched on Wax. So I'm multi-chain. I'm building out a Wax, building out Ethereum, and we're launching our Polygon as well. And so here we go with our NFT, and this is all about education. This is an educational pack where the more that you get the NFTs, the more access you have to playing a historical game that teaches you as you play it. And here we have all the characters. These are the 30 characters inside the game. All of these we've been making NFTs of, and they're all interactive inside the game ecosystem that is both a real world card playing game. I mean, can you imagine? I showed you at the beginning, wow, yeah, I made that clean gold application, which is a stable coin, integrating in gold mines in Australia. Here I am building out a whole ecosystem of NFTs for historical characters that you get to play with and earn tokens while you're playing. So you play to earn. It's how you do it. You get to stake the tokens, you buy the NFTs, you stake them, you battle with them. We've got a battle contract where you can play the NFTs against each other. You actually literally use NFTs to play out other NFTs, and if you win, you get the other NFT. How cool is this? People love this sort of stuff. Here's the NFTs here. We've got this one of Albert Einstein. Look at that. Like these, I made all of these. It's like when all of this sort of comes out of the role-playing game where people played characters against each other. How about this one? Steve Jobs. Look at this. I made that. Look at the value somebody's charging for it. $5,000 on a JPEG interactive NFT that I produced. I didn't get that much from it. They are playing with my creation and trading them into the thousands. How cool is that? that you can make something to other people, and then you make the royalty on each one, because you can build into each NFT a 1 to 10% royalty payment back to you every single trade, all on-chain, unstoppable, unhackable, coming back to you in your wallet, all from artwork. And here we have Wax, the easiest on-ramp for all crypto. You come to Wax, click on up here, get started, the Wax Cloud wallet. You just come in here, you enter your username, and just like joining up on Google, and suddenly you have access to the dashboard. You come in here, you can play games, play dApps, get NFTs, playing around. This whole thing is just lots of fun. Imagine if Picasso came along. Well, Picasso would have a field time here. Remember, we did a signature and he said it was like worth $1 million. The whole thing with these NFTs is like they're trading like baseball cards. People are loving this kind of thing. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. There's something, I think, in that. Pablo Picasso, he knew a thing or two. And he had a lot of fun making a lot of money. He realized how lucrative artwork could be, and he took it all the way. Have a little look at this is a little promo video that we made for the King of Quotes, and I think that you might like it.
Support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
And singing the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty,
But we have to achieve equal rights for any human being before us.
Now we are the masters of our fate. That the task which has been set us is not above our strength.
Where there is doubt, may we bring faith, and where there is despair, may we bring hope.
You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future.
and bring about the freedom of these people by any means necessary.